Bats are fascinating mammals, and they are vitally important components of healthy ecosystems. The bats native to Canada are insect eaters and typically eat half their weight in insects each night. Their worldwide value in controlling crop and forest pests is estimated in the billions of dollars. Yet, 3 bat species in Canada are now listed as endangered because of a fungal disease called white nose syndrome. Parks Canada Agency collaborates with bat experts to better understand white nose syndrome and to find effective ways to delay its spread. Parks Canada is committed to promoting the use of decontamination methods to delay the spread of white nose syndrome. In doing so, Parks Canada is supporting Canada's National Conservation Plan by working with the Canadian Wildlife Health Cooperative and other partners to give bats a chance at long-term survival. This video outlines the National Decontamination Protocol for use by park staff, researchers, and the caving community. Use this video together with the most current version of the protocol available from the cooperative's website. White nose syndrome was first found in New York State in 2006. Since then, it has spread quickly through the eastern U.S. and Canada. So far, the disease has not been reported from Western Canada, the Territories, or Newfoundland. White nose syndrome usually causes a white, fuzzy appearance on a bat's nose, wings, or ears, although this may not be obvious in the early stages of the disease. The fungus transfers quickly between bats during winter hibernation, when the bats lower their body temperature and their immune system is suppressed. Bat hibernacula are generally underground openings, such as caves or abandoned mines. Infected bats arouse earlier or more often from hibernation. With no insects to eat, bats quickly use up their stored fat reserves and can die. White nose syndrome can even kill all the bats in a hibernaculum. Even species that used to be common are now very rare and may become regionally extinct. 3 bat species are now listed as endangered under the Canadian Species at Risk Act: the little brown myotis, the northern myotis, and the tri-colored bat. These bats can be found within the Parks Canada system of protected heritage places. White nose syndrome is mainly transferred from bat to bat, but it is also suspected that people may unintentionally transport the microscopic spores that are on their clothing, footwear, or equipment to new areas. The purpose of the decontamination protocol is to reduce this risk. If spores are transported on equipment over long distances, the fungus could quickly leap to new areas. Anyone entering a cave or mine where bats may be present should consult the protocol and be prepared to decontaminate their clothing and equipment. We don't know where all hibernation sites are located, and bats could be found at sites where they have not been reported before. The current version of the decontamination protocol is available from the website of the Canadian Wildlife Health Cooperative. For Western Canada and the Territories, where white nose syndrome does not occur, also consult the Western Canada White Nose Syndrome Transmission Prevention Guidelines for additional information. Check for the latest copies on the website. Planning ahead is important. Above all, make sure you are aware of access regulations for cave and mine sites. In general, caves and mines under Parks Canada jurisdiction require a permit for entry. Always check with the site. Other authorities have closed caves or hibernacula, or may have their own rules for you to follow. Consult a map of the current distribution of the fungus that causes white nose syndrome. You can find the most recent version on the cooperative's website. Determine if your activities will occur in an area where the fungus has been confirmed or suspected. A decision tree within the decontamination protocol will help you decide whether to decontaminate based on the risk of exposure. Also check with the relevant provincial and federal agencies. Decontamination is very important in areas where the fungus is currently spreading, and especially at the leading edge of the range of white nose syndrome. In general, equipment should be decontaminated as a precaution between every trip in uninfected areas in provinces where the fungus has been confirmed. You should also decontaminate when you are visiting infected sites more than 10 kilometers apart. This is because little is known about the diversity of the fungus and the potential effects of different strains of the fungus on bats. Good planning can also help you manage your gear and equipment use. If possible, dedicate your equipment to a site. Equipment used within 250 kilometers of a positive or suspect area, in Canada or the United States, should never be used in an uninfected area, even if it has been decontaminated. Instead, consider borrowing clean gear from the non-affected area or buying new equipment and using it only at uninfected sites. In general, it is also good practice to avoid transporting gear between different continents. If possible, avoid entering sites that require equipment that can be difficult to decontaminate. Finally, plan ahead to deal with potentially contaminated gear. Before you leave for the site, you need to obtain both cleaning and disinfecting products in order to be ready for the decontamination process during and after your site visit. Know how all equipment and garbage will be contained, treated, or discarded after your visit. Recommended cleaning products currently include detergent soaps like Woolite or Dawn antibacterial dish soap. These help remove dirt and debris that can contain the fungus. Remember to check the current protocol for any new recommendations. You will also need disinfectants that kill the fungus. A solution containing household bleach with at least 5% sodium hypochlorite can be sprayed or wiped onto some surfaces. Prepare a solution of 9 parts water to 1 part household bleach. Products containing at least 0.3% ammonium quaternary compounds can also be used to disinfect non-porous surfaces and are not as harsh on electronics. Some suitable quaternary ammonium products are available as disposable wipes. Other liquid ammonium products can be found in the decontamination protocol. Alcohol wipes and sanitizers shouldn't be used for decontamination, since their effectiveness is not known. Once you have a plan and have collected all the gear and supplies, you are ready for the visit. During your visit, wear clothing that can be submerged in water of 60 degrees Celsius for at least 20 minutes. Over washable clothes, wear coveralls. Bring a clean set for each site you are visiting. For some sites, you may be able to use disposable suits. Wear rubber boots, since they are easiest to clean and disinfect. Do not tuck your outer garments into your boots. Wear sturdy gloves, like construction-grade rubber gloves, while you are inside the hibernaculum. Pull the gloves up over the coveralls at the wrists. Keep your gloves on outside the site while handling potentially contaminated equipment. Wear a caving helmet with a light source. Tie back any loose hair. If you observe bats where they have not previously been known to occur, please report your observations to a bat specialist. Contacts are listed in the protocol. Make every effort not to disturb the bats. While in the cave, equipment must be carefully handled. Keep cameras and other electronics in disposable plastic bags when they are not in use. If possible, choose field equipment that can be decontaminated, like voice recorders or waterproof notebooks with removable pages. Researchers may have to handle bats and will need to change into disposable nitrile gloves for better dexterity. Remove and dispose of nitrile gloves after handling each bat to avoid transmitting the fungus. Check the protocol for further information on glove use. Remember, do not touch or handle bats unless you have the proper permits, vaccinations, and training. Once your visit is over, The decontamination process begins. Upon exiting the site, use a bristle brush to remove any mud from clothing and equipment. This helps physically remove the dirt that carries the spores. Back at your vehicle, take equipment out of the plastic bag and contain the bag for later disposal. Wipe electronics and other equipment down thoroughly with disinfectant and put them into a clean disposable bag. Put all the disposables into a plastic garbage bag. You will also need to remove and contain all the material to be decontaminated. Place everything into a plastic bag. Seal all bags and spray them with disinfectant before putting them into your vehicle. For extra protection, bags can be placed into a clean container before putting them into the car. Once everything is in your vehicle, disinfect your hands thoroughly. Ideally, disposable gloves are worn at all times when handling contaminated gear. Change into clean clothes and footwear before getting into your vehicle. After your visit, bags of potentially contaminated waste should be incinerated or taken directly to a waste disposal site. Otherwise, make sure they are disposed of securely in sealed bins. All clothing and equipment that was used in the cave or mine will need to be decontaminated. First, wash submersible equipment and clothing in a wash basin or sink with a detergent like Woolite or Dawn. Removing dirt has been shown to increase the effectiveness of the disinfectant. Then, disinfect submersible items by covering them completely in water that maintains a temperature of at least 60 degrees Celsius or 140 degrees Fahrenheit for at least 20 minutes. 60 for 20. You can use a cooler with a lid to help keep the water above 60 degrees Celsius. Boiling water from a kettle can be added to bring the water up to 60 degrees Celsius and to keep it hot. Stir the water occasionally to make sure the temperature is even throughout. Clothing and equipment need to stay completely submerged. Instead of disinfecting with hot water, you may choose to immerse some equipment in chemical disinfectants. Suitable chemical disinfectants are given in the decontamination protocol. After clothes and equipment have been cleaned and disinfected, sinks should be sprayed with disinfectant and wiped clean. Ideally, wear gloves while completing this process. Otherwise, make sure that your hands are disinfected before handling decontaminated gear. Once this process is complete, the equipment is considered decontaminated and can be dried normally. Remember that you can help slow the spread of white nose syndrome by decontaminating between each one of your site visits. Here are the most important points. Plan your visit and know the risk of spreading white nose syndrome. Consult the website for the most current version of the protocol. Submerge your clothing and equipment in water of at least 60 degrees for at least 20 minutes. Clean all other gear or equipment thoroughly with disinfecting wipes. Bats are at great risk. Decontamination is one thing we can do to help them. We all have the responsibility to do everything we can to help slow the spread of this deadly disease. Delaying the spread of white nose syndrome may give researchers more time to study healthy bats and their fragile habitats and provide information for their recovery. By taking extra time to plan your visits carefully and decontaminating your clothing and equipment, you will make a difference for the survival of these important species in North America. Join Parks Canada, the Canadian Wildlife Health Cooperative, and other bat experts to reduce the threats faced by North American bats.